Our unstoppable PLO Lumumba has just done it again. Africa celebrate. 100% Pan-Africanists worldwide believe Africa is reason beyond talking, particularly when you build Africa's legacy without foreign grants. PLO Lumumba talks and do. In this first episode, show us your evidence on Pan-African Daily TV latest live weekly podcast. You will understand why Africa's development is African-owned, though Africans are not even aware about it. 12 Ubuntu. I am because we are because I am. PLO Lumumba Foundation celebrates 30, a legacy in motion. From all of us at Pan-African Daily TV family worldwide, we raise our voices in solidarity with Professor Patrick Lok Otieno Lumumba and the PLO Lumumba Foundation on its 30th anniversary. Congratulations, Professor PLO Lumumba. Happy celebration. For 3 decades now, the PLO Lumumba Foundation has stood as a pillar of African dignity, education, and Pan-African unity, shining a light, the touch of conscious leadership across the continent of Africa and beyond. Professor, your legacy of truth, justice, and empowerment has shaped generations, and we on Pan-African Daily TV are deeply honored to serve the PLO Lumumba Foundation as your official media partner. Together, we shall continue the journey towards building the Africa we want, bold, brilliant, and unshakably united. Once more, congratulations PLO Lumumba Foundation on 30 years of purpose-driven impact. Hi, this is Dr. Susan Tata, Pan-African Daily TV founder, host, your voice, your vision, and your future. We are on the podcast called Show Us Your Evidence, a Pan-African Daily TV series where we shine a light on legacy builders across Africa and the diaspora. On Show Us the Evidence, talk meets truth and impact is proven. In this first episode, we celebrate one of Africa's most powerful living legacies, the PLO Lumumba Foundation, now in its 30th years of services to the continent of Africa and beyond. Founded by Professor Patrick Lok Otieno Lumumba, the icon, this foundation is no longer just a name, it's a legacy. What is a legacy?
Legacy, simply put, is the footprints on the sands of time left behind by individuals or institutions. And within the African context, we can say legacy has several meanings, often shaped by historical, cultural, and social factors. Within the cultural domain, we have legacies which often refers to the customs, tradition, and practices passed down through generations. These include art, music, dance, oral stories. And we also have languages, which is the preservation of indigenous languages and dialect, which is a significant aspect of cultural legacy. And on the line of history, we have colonial legacy, which is the impact of colonialism on African nations, including the effect on governance, economy, and social structure. And on the social and political front, we have social movements. The legacies of civil rights and liberation movements continue to influence contemporary struggles for equity and justice. We have governance and institutions. The effectiveness and shortcomings of political institutions established after independence are often analyzed in terms of their legacy. And on the economic front, we have resource management and the legacy of how natural resources have been managed or exploited can affect current economic conditions and policies. And on the personal note, or on personal legacy, it means the situations in which individuals make their footprint, and we have this within the family and community level. On that level, legacy can refer to the values, the teachings, and the contributions of individuals to their families and the community. Right, so all in all, legacy in Africa encompasses a wide range of meanings, reflecting the continent's rich history, diverse cultures, and ongoing social and political changes.
In today's media, we often hear big words from personalities such as revolution, change, empowerment. But what these personalities do not show us is the evidence of their works on the ground. So we ask, where is your legacy?
The PLO Lumumba Foundation was founded 30 years ago, perhaps slightly over 30 years ago, on the 16th day of December the year 1994. And the motivation for creating this foundation was to create a uniquely Pan-African institution that does not seek support from foreign organizations through donations. That does not mean that we cannot collaborate, but the whole idea was that we have an institution which is founded by an African, founded on the African soil, with a focus on addressing African issues in the area of education, in the area of health, in the area of agriculture, in the emerging areas of technology and innovation, and mentoring young men and women without seeking what many organizations rely on, a grant from some American organization, a grant from some European organization, because I realize that whenever you receive these grants and or donations, then you become beholden to the donors. And as the saying goes, he who pays the piper, and that includes she or it that pays the piper, calls the tune. And our pride after 30 years is that we have never asked for and we have never received any grant or donation from any of these powers from outside of the continent of Africa. Whatever support that we have received are from a few individuals who are moved and touched by what we do across the continent of Africa. And it's important to say that as we speak now, the foundation has some footprint in 46 African countries with iconic programs in different sectors of the economy. We have a presence through the Unity University in Hargeisa in Somaliland. We have a presence in Kenya through the Pan-African Institute at Kenya University. We are soon getting into the Eden University through the Pan-African Institute. We are in collaboration with students and organizations in Latin America, in Central America, in Europe, in Australia, within the continent of Africa, and we are collaborating with these institutions who are friends of goodwill at the level of implementation, not with a bowl in hand asking to be given $1 or €1. That model is the model that we rejected and is a model that we will never accept. That is our greatest claim to fame. You see, our motto is Ukarimu ni nguzo, which is a Kiswahili saying. It means that generosity is the foundation stone upon which we rest. And we have a saying in Kiswahili, kutoa ni moyo, usambe ni utajiri. That giving is not about how rich you are, but because you are moved by the spirit of generosity. And that is what governs us.
More than 90% of our subscribers on Pan-African Daily TV do share our views that Africa has risen to more than just talking. 60% of those who watch us have not subscribed to Pan-African Daily TV. 99% have not subscribed to our membership program on YouTube. 95% has never contributed nor supported Pan-African Daily TV. 100% of our audience have benefited from contacts, gained exposure, and teachings provided from our selfless teachers, our high-profile guests on Pan-African Daily TV. 100% of our guests spend on average 60% of their time educating and teaching our people free of charge. 100% staff on Pan-African Daily TV work voluntarily. Dr. Susan Tata's platform, Sings Creation, the Africa We Want non-profit organization, created in 2006 with the massive biggest Africa Diaspora Festival in Germany. Pan-African Daily TV created Sings 2000, and Africa Festival Tübingen created Sings 2007. All of us have worked voluntarily to serve our continent and our people. And so this is my appeal to you that is watching me right now. Subscribe, like, and share this conversation. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. I respect you.
The young men and women whom we are now proud of across the continent of Africa are young men and women who are self-motivated, and we collaborate with them in a manner that strengthens them and energizes them. When I talk of some of our key representatives across the continent of Africa and outside of the continent of Africa, they are individuals who got in touch with us courtesy of the media, courtesy of the new technologies, YouTube, WhatsApp, and other modern day media. And they have to be found in different parts of the world. The coordinator of our mentorship program, Razaka Udu, who operates out of Ghana. The young Usman Toure, who is moving mountains, born in the Gambia, but now with a major cosmetic company with outlets in Dakar, in Senegal, and in Lagos, soon coming to the continent of Africa, the leading young YouTuber across the world today, Wodemaya, who is from Ghana, the orator and writer and great Kiswahili promoter in the person of Yoramu Nkumbi from Tanzania, Louis Suleiman from Kaduna in Nigeria, and many others to be found in Malawi, in Namibia, in Italy. Mfume Eddie, who is from Nigeria but is now in Italy, Liki Tono Abuoro, and many others who are young men and women who are motivated. I've not mentioned Arthur Wakley, who is now founded a Pan-African clothing line under the aegis of the PLO Lumumba Foundation. So we are convinced that when you empower young people, they are doing great things. We have young persons in Uganda. Moses Odeke is working with a young man who is called the president, who we now are talking as an ambassador, and who is being kept very well in Uganda. The duo models, who are young Kenyans who are just slightly 10 years and they are in the modeling space. So when we talk about the activities in the continent of Africa, we see a mentorship program which is energizing people. It is mentorship unusual. Whenever you want to understand what mentorship is, people are quick to go to the dictionary. We talk of mentorship to mean that we are empowering you and energizing you in the area that you are passionate about, and we want you to be the best at what you do. And so far, the returns we have tell us good work is going on. A new generation of Africans are emerging, both within the continent and in the diaspora. It is our source of great joy. My good friend Dr. Susan Tata and our outlet, the Pan-African TV and the media, I hope that this will become the big media house that Africa has been waiting for, is good, because you give the oxygen of publicity to the good work that is being done, not only by the foundation. There are many African initiatives that are going on out there. And one of the things that we want to do as a foundation is to ensure that we are coordinated, that we don't work in silos. We want to ensure that going forward we are pulling in the same direction, and this is going to be our grand agenda, particularly when we have made the statement that we want Africa to work for Africans, which means that African institutions must be Africanized and decolonized, so that they are able to serve the African continent. So the media is critical in that regard, and we take the view that when one or an institution wants to do good things, it is not in pursuit of popularity. It is in pursuit of that which is good and right. And many times that which is good and right, when it begins, it is frowned upon. But as long as we remain faithful to the agenda of ensuring that man and woman are given their pride of place in the scheme of things as they choose to improve the quality of their life, then we are happy. And we are prepared to collaborate with friends of goodwill wherever they may come from going forward. And we are convinced that we are going to move mountains. And we are also aware that the projects we are undertaking are intergenerational projects, so that we do our part and hand over the baton to the next generation. It is a marathon relay race. Thank you.
Show us the evidence. A legacy is more than just a dream. It is the proof of action, the fruits of consistency. The PLO Lumumba Foundation has educated, mentored, and mobilized thousands of young African leaders. Leaders such as Ousmane Touré. This is not just a talk, people. This is evidence. Now, when I talk to Professor PLO Lumumba about what it takes to build a legacy that lasts 3 decades and still grows stronger, Professor shared strong opinions. In this episode, evidence is proven. The PLO Lumumba Foundation is a legacy in motion, and we are all proud to witness this. And because legacy is essentially building the Africa we want, I also ask young voices about what legacy in an African context mean to them, and who are their role models, their legacy builders.
Leadership in Africa's legacy to me means lasting impact, authentic integrity, and transformation. 2 great minds that have inspired me are Professor Lumumba, who is a fearless Pan-Africanist with outstanding activism and initiatives all across Africa, and Dr. Susan Tata, who is a visionary behind the Pan-African Daily TV and the Africa Festival in Tübingen, whose works have built communities and cultures in the diaspora and on the continent.
So when we talk about legacy in African leadership, we basically mean that great influence, positive influence on the African people and maybe the black people all over the whole world. So the 2 icons who inspire me most, one of course is Professor PLO Lumumba from Kenya, and then Professor Monifeketa Asante from the United States of America, the father of Afrocentricity. Yeah.
Legacy in African leadership is not mere cacophony of words. It is about the impact, the value, and the progress of community. We are tired of the beautiful speeches. We want leaders who can walk the talk, like Captain Ibrahim Traore. Consider the Kenyan professor PLO Lumumba. Beyond his piercing words is his impact in his community through his foundation, which will be 30 years soon. Through his foundation, he gives the voice to the voiceless. Within the African and Cameroonian context, we cannot not mention late Professor Bernard Nsokika Fonda, who showed us that genuine leadership is about prioritizing the common good over our selfish personal interests. These are values rooted in the African philosophy of Ubuntu. I am because we are, and because we are, I am. We should animate every African leadership.
For me, legacy is a blueprint that people leave behind so that the next generation can find its task, its missions towards their lives and also the world. And for the moment, I think in our generation, Kemi Seba is one of the great Pan Africans around who have achieved great things through their struggle.